They told me to come over here. So I guess I'm over here. Now what? Well, in politics, it's typically a gesture that whoever you ran against, which typically, I mean, anyone who runs for office, it is a really big blood sport. So Eric called to congratulate me, and he was respectful, and I appreciate that. Say again? Yeah, well, they declared, Pinellas County declared me as the winner, but yes, so they've declared it, and we are the winner as of this evening. So I'm very humbled and honored to represent Florida 13. One of the biggest problems that we're currently facing is what's happening with our energy crisis in this country. As you all know, and as we're directly being impacted by what's happening with the diesel crisis and our fuel prices, it's really pushing out a lot of people here in Pinellas County. I can tell you that I personally, I had a Jeep, I sold it because I was getting 12 miles to the gallon, and I'm not made of money. And I'm sure most people in this community aren't. So we have to really reel in what's happening with the economy. Honestly, we need to look at balancing the budget, and then also too, sorry, it's a little bit loud out here. Also too, what's happening with big tech is going to continue to be an issue. So although Elon did purchase Twitter, we're still seeing massive censorship, and we really can't even begin to have discussions about how to solve these problems that we're facing as a country unless we have fair access to these platforms. So I look forward to doing that in Washington, D.C.
You stressed this grassroots campaign. Talk about that and how you are.
So really nothing outdoes the power of grassroots. I can tell you that I was really outspent 12 to 1, and 12 to 1 I mean $12 million to 1. We knocked doors, we put in the effort, we made the phone calls, and there is power to having that direct, I think, contact and interaction with other people. If you're running for office, I don't care if you're a Democrat, Republican, or independent, you have to talk to people. You can't just rely on big money, and I think that it's really alarming how expensive elections have become. You know, it keeps a lot of normal people from running for office, and as you all know, you can see in the expenditures, I was outspent every step of the way. I knew I would have to beat them by knocking on doors and making phone calls, and that's exactly what we did. So never underestimate the power of pounding the pavement.
Anna, your opponent called you an extremist. How do you plan to serve the people of Pinellas County? Where are you from?
Well, it's going to start by opening our doors, showing up more than 14 days at Charlie Chris. And also too, really, I think, providing that I'm not going up there to be removed from the people in Pinellas County. I'm genuinely going up there to serve them. So I want to work with people. I had a couple of people here that already approached me and said, you know, we haven't been able to have access to really good veteran services in a long time. And so one of the first things that we hope to do is launch our vet coalition. You guys know that I'm a vet, but I mean, I really do believe in public service. That's what I'm here to do. So I did it one way in the military. Now I look forward to serving in a different capacity in Washington, D.C. So just because you lose doesn't mean you can't come back and win. And I can tell you that I actually had two very important conversations, well, three. One was with Mark Meadows and Debbie Meadows. And they said, Anna, you know, you really did do something incredible the first time. No one ever thought that Florida 13 was a flippable seat, but you were outspent 3 to 1. You went against the former governor in his hometown and had him out there putting out signs. He was genuinely sweating over you. And I said, yes, sir. Well, do you think I should run again? He said, yes. And then the second conversation I had was with Speaker Newt Gingrich that said, Anna, do you know my story? Of course, I Googled him. So I said, yes, Speaker Gingrich, I do. And he goes, you know that I ran 3 times. I lost a few times, but I came back and I arguably became one of the most influential men in American politics. He said, you better get back up and do it again. And then the last conversation I had was with a few members of the Freedom Caucus. And so I can tell you that just because you don't win the first time, I think that this should show everyone, whether it's running for Congress, whether it's, you know, a job, whether it is anything in life, you really should believe in yourself, try again. And only in America can something like this happen. So we're very excited today. She's here, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the coolest things is that, you know, on my mom's side, they're Chicano, and then my grandmother was from Mexico City. And so what I can tell you is, you know, I don't like identity politics because first and foremost, I'm an American, but I do understand that there's a lot of young girls that, especially in politics, look up to someone like myself, and I like to tell my story because I don't have a particularly normal upbringing and background, but again, going back to really being the American dream and what we have access to, if you work hard in this country, regardless of whatever circumstances that you're born into, you can really attain anything, and so I'm really honored to, I'm stoked. I'm honored, yeah.
Your opponent in the past has said your views on gun control raises concerns. How have you addressed those criticisms?
You know, a lot of people that make those comments have not lived what I've lived through. I survived an armed robbery with my late father. At around 9 years old, I walked into and survived it. I had a cousin that was shot in the head. Her boyfriend was a gangbanger. So obviously, seeing that growing up, that's not normal circumstances. And then one of the many high schools I attended, there was a gang shooting on campus. When I was stationed in Missouri, I had someone that broke into my home and I didn't have a firearm. It wasn't until I got stationed in Florida that I got my concealed carry. So I have lived in circumstances and in states where gun control was pushed, and I can tell you that it was not until I got a firearm that I really truly understood what it was like to take back my own form of security. I've lived through all those things, and I'm telling you that anyone who pushes gun control is only enabling really the bad people to have firearms. Yes, sir. Well, as you guys all know, working in media and especially in politics, that sometimes people will use polls, and if you skew the data, it's polling suppression. So what they try to do is they try to make a race look more competitive or less competitive so they can get funding and or to suppress enthusiasm for voters. I think that that's shady business. I've never had to pad a poll, but I can tell you that, you know, this is politics, and if you think people aren't going to be shady over control of one of the greatest superpowers the world has ever known, you're barking up the wrong tree. But we're very excited to say that we have clean pollsters, and so next time check out our polling because we were right. Thank you. Any other questions? And I appreciate you guys giving us fair reporting. I see a lot of friendly faces, so thank you, because it's not always friendly, so you guys rock. So thank you guys. Thank you. And thank you for coming to